Leave the chain on. I used to think living alone was just math and locks. One deadbolt, one chain, one person who remembers the trash day without being asked. I'm 26, third floor walk-up with a window that faces a brick wall and a building intercom that thinks it as a doorbell. My rules are boring on purpose. Keep the chain on when you're home. Don't answer knocks you didn't order. Send your sister a home-safe selfie. And never buzz someone in because they know your name. One extra superstition from my neighbor Kira. If your phone asks you to, double tap to confirm. And you didn't request anything, ignore it. Apps get lonely, she said. Let morning deal with them. By 9:40 p.m., the apartment had learned its hum. Fridge, hallway vent, the elevator's distant complaint. I was doing the polite kind of alone, washing a single plate, texting my sister that dull photo of keys on a hook. Downstairs, the package locker kiosk whirred and spit something into the slot. The notification on my phone lit with a pickup I didn't schedule. I went because grown-ups like receipts. The building smelled like hot dust. The kiosk blinked green. When I scanned my code, the thermal printer coughed a narrow strip with no locker number, just "Do not open the door." Along the edge, in ghost gray, not matching any hour I live by. 3:13. Ahmadillah. The wall clock over the mailboxes said 9:43. Printer's old, the super likes to say. I tucked the strip into my sleeve because paper feels like a rule. The first knock was polite. 2 taps. On my apartment door. Measured. Not neighbor, not UPS. I looked through the peephole. The hall behaved. Brown carpet, exit sign. Nobody pretending to check their phone. As I watched, the peephole glass fogged from the hall side. An oval breath that slid down a patient inch and thinned. I stared until my own breath caught up on the inside and made a second story. My phone buzzed with a verification code I hadn't asked for. Then another. A toast slid down from a delivery app I don't keep. Confirm handoff at 9:50? Under it, the smaller words you don't usually notice. Double tap to confirm. 2 tiny hearts pulsed like it was a date. I texted my sister. Someone knocked, and I'm not expecting. She sent back a skull and then, speaker on. If it changes plans last minute, we don't. Family superstition is a door I can lock. The intercom buzzed twice. Downstairs, the patient tap buildings learn. I pressed the talk button with my thumb and said, "Wrong apartment?" The speaker breathed like someone holding a shell to their ear. A voice came through slow, careful, like each word was being lowered into place with 2 fingers. Don't open. Not the super, not a neighbor. The sound the museum in my head makes when it labels bones. I stepped back from the door and touched the chain. It felt colder than the brass should. Winter cold, press your cheek, and it sticks cold. The deadbolt under my palm turned a hair. The wrong way without my hand moving. I laid my other hand flat over it and said, "No." And it stopped like a dog, reminded it knows you. The oven clock blinked the hour steady. For one blink of the room, it read 3:20 and remembered 9:51 without apology. The hallway outside adopted a rhythm. Elevator rumble, pipe tick, someone STV laugh track. Aligned into one note long enough to make my stomach choose a color. Then broke apart like the building had remembered it was many. Another tap at the door. My phone lit with a message from unknown. I am here. And a tiny map that put the dot inside my living room. The dot jumped to the hall side of the door, then to nowhere, and settled like it had made a decision. I checked the peephole again. In the fisheye, where the hall should be blank, head leaned toward the lens. Not a face, just the angle a head makes when it's listening at a door. The mouth was a darker oval, parted like it had reached the first half of dawn. 2. I blinked too long. The hall went back to being a hall. The smart speaker on my bookshelf woke itself without the word and glowed a small patient ring. Can I help? It began, and then in that careful wait, leave the chain. I pulled the plug because I wanted a choice to feel like a choice. The phone rang with a local number, and the caller ID said, lobby. I let it roll to voicemail and watched the live transcription try to make sense. Dante open, leave it locked. In my sister S' neat texting cadence, the app shouldn't know her font. It did. The bathroom mirror, fogged, a thumb width higher than my mouth could reach. Our palm cleared a small circle from the wrong side and slid an inch before it remembered glass is rude. I ran the tap until steam made a simpler story and shut the door like that mattered. Another verification code. Another confirm handoff. Double tap to confirm. Polished itself on my lock screen like a dare. My phone vibrated twice. The little animal heartbeat, and the door answered with the same rhythm back, tap tap, from the other side, exact. Luna, I typed, if I don't answer in 5 minutes, call so loud it scares the neighbors. She sent me back a timer and then, Donna, put your eye to the hole. I put my eye to the hole because bodies disrespect advice that specific. Nobody in the hall. Though our chain whispered against the door in a small shift, a sleeper scratching. The door handle turned a hair and stilled. The intercom downstairs buzzed. Once, then again, double. And the tiny screen on my phone showed a thumbnail of my own door from inches away. A wet shine where breath had fogged the paint. At 10:06, the building changed its mind about sound again. Not quieter. Aligned for 4 long breaths. The vent, the fridge, the elevator's ache, the transformer behind the exit sign, all kept the same beat like a choir made of machines. In that held chord, the moon deadbolt nudged under my hand in the polite direction of open. I said, in the voice you practice for kids and dogs and weather, leave it locked. And the metal cooled, as if that were a rule it recognized. The oven clock hiccuped through the 3-point, again without asking me how I felt. My phone buzzed with a photo from unknown. My door, chain on, the little screw I keep meaning to tighten, staring back like an eye. The caption, double tap to confirm arrival. The hearts pulsed. I put the phone face down and watched the screen light the ceiling like a bad movie. The hallway carpet thumped. Feet without weight, then tapped twice. Outside my neighbor S door, then mine again, a polite practice of a sentence knocked into wood. The peephole glass cooled against my eye before my face reached it, like a cheek pressed through winter. The palm fog returned, slow, deliberate, slid that inch, and faded with that small pop fog makes when it loses interest. My sister called in real voice, and I answered so fast I fumbled hello. You're still home, she said, like counting. I told her I was fine, and not. She told me to keep her on speaker and to say the rule out loud. "Doors love rules," she said, in the tone that used to get me out of bed for school. "Say the sentence." From the hall, the Mroladum 2 knocks. Landed again, exact as punctuation. When I didn't answer, a letter slid under the door. Slow. The paper edge moved like a slow saw. I stared at the strip as it freed itself and lay there like a thin animal. Thermal paper, damp-edged. Leave it locked. In the same dot matrix the package kiosk uses, in tiny ghost gray down the side. 3/13, like a comment you didn't ask for. "Someone's messing with me," I told the room. The room exhaled like a chest. At 10:41, the hallway light outside my door blinked once and held. The elevator stopped on my floor and didn't open. In the pause, the building remembered the old habit of living bodies and aligned one more time. The speaker on the shelf, still unplugged, found a word anyway. "Don't open." In the freezer, the ice maker coughed 2 bullets in a tap-tap and fell silent. I wrote, "Quiet night," in the Notes app because forms deserve feeding, even in apartments, and the act of typing sentences makes rooms behave. The letters looked wet on the screen for a second, like a thumb had rubbed them before they dried. The air by the door cooled until I could see my breath in it. A voice through the wood, my voice, said from the hall side, "It's me." The peephole stayed blank hall. "Tell me the last word you texted," I said, "because tricks help even when they're silly." The voice waited a beat, like it had to find a page, then said, "Open," in the narrow way my mouth says it when I am lying. I put both palms on the door and matched pressure. From the other side, a hand matched back. Pressure for pressure. Through wood, not hard, just enough to be conversation. The chain lifted a millimeter and settled like a body resettling in a bed it didn't T-earn. The intercom downstairs gave one tired buzz. At 3:13, because some hours apply for the job, every clock I own took a breath. The oven blinked. The phone lit. The hallway light winked once. The building gave one long, aligned hum, like a chord, remembered and released. The dot on the map slid from inside my living room to the hall, too, and the photo thread from the unknown cleared itself like a window closing in a breeze. Dawn unstitched the dark. Kira made hallway coffee and told me the super would say, "Printer S. Old," if I told him anything at all. My sister texted a skull and a heart and the rule, in case my brain had replaced it with something worse. Leave it locked. I started sleeping with a chain across because rituals are scaffolding, and scaffolding is almost a wall. Some nights the peephole glass fogs, a thumb width higher than my breath, a hop palm clears a coin-sized circle from the wrong side and slides that inch. Some nights at 3:13, my phone vibrates. Twice, on the nightstand, a small animal tap, and the door answers back with the same rhythm, polite as someone practicing hello. When it does, I put both hands on the wood and say, in the steady voice the night taught me, "Leave the chain on." For a long, thin moment, the door cools under my palms, as if another hand has matched mine, and agreed. The building breathes in one note, like a person reaching for sleep. And whatever has been practicing my voice outside in the hall, mouth parted on the first half of "Don't," chooses another door on another floor and leaves mine to be just a door.
If you survived this far, Leave your like to prove you are not afraid.